Welcome back, everybody. I have something a little bit different today. This is something I've had my eye on for a while. You've probably seen it on other furniture channels and woodworking channels, and I am super excited to be trying this out. This is the XTOOL P2 CO2 laser. Now, before you come for me and say, what in the world does this have to do with refinishing furniture? This machine has so many different capabilities. You can cut and score and engrave on wood. It can cut and score and engrave on clear acrylic, which is going to be great for making templates for hardware or embellishments. And this is also going to help me with the merch side of my business. Before I get going, I just want to make it clear I'm not sponsored by XTOOL, and I'm not getting any money for these videos. This was a straight up exchange, a couple of videos for this machine. You guys also know, if you've been with my channel for a while, that I don't like to talk about products or promote products that I don't personally use. So this allows me the opportunity to be completely honest in my reviews. If there's something I don't like, I will mention it. Okay, so what does this have to do with furniture? And why do so many furniture flipping YouTubers have these machines? Well, having this gives me so many opportunities to do things beyond my normal job, like create coasters and, little things for you guys. But if you remember in my community post the other day, I was talking about creating custom hardware. So whether that's for myself or to sell remains to be seen, but this machine can actually help me do that. So let's get into this. Straight out of the box, I am super impressed with the build of this. It just feels like a quality machine. Even the door opening, it feels so nice. It just glides open so easily. It was exceptionally well packaged, and considering the weight of this, it arrived with no scratches, nothing was broken. And it comes with everything you're going to need to get started. It's got the antifreeze you're going to need to put in. It has some starter materials like acrylic, cardboard, some basswood, and everything is labeled really well. So one of the other reasons I decided to go through with this was to see if an ordinary person, that'd be me, that has never used a laser before would be able to plug this in, set it up, and start making things. And yeah, an ordinary person can do this. The instructions that they send are so clear and concise and easy that I'm convinced anybody could do it. So because I've never used a laser before, I'm taking my time familiarizing myself with this machine. And of course, I immediately drop one of the screws down inside, but that's okay because this little tool that they send with it is magnetic and it was easy to pick up. Before you turn this machine on, it's extremely important that you put in the antifreeze, and there's a certain amount you're going to need to put in depending on where you live. We need to take the back cover off, have a look at the tube here, make sure that it is intact and hasn't broken in shipping. Everything looks great, so I'm going to move forward and put in my antifreeze. Now I'm in Canada, so it can get pretty cold here. Even though my garage is heated, I have to kind of mentally prepare that every winter the power goes out for a while and it could get pretty cold in here. So I'm basing my measurements on what the temperature could possibly be. Now you can't just throw regular tap water in this machine. You're going to need to use purified or distilled water. Now I'm a tattoo artist, so I always have distilled water in my shop, so I just ran and grabbed some. Just follow the directions. It's super easy. Once I have the first filling in, you turn the machine on, let it sort of suck in that water, and then you add in your last little bit. Once that portion is done, I'm going to put the lid back on and attach the exhaust hose. Now there's a couple of different setups for exhaust, and this is what comes standard. It's just a hose that you can vent to outside. But the alternative is this smoke purifier, and it's something that I'm seriously considering investing in. With this machine, you would basically vent from the P2 into this, and then you can further vent to outside. So this is one of the main reasons I want to get the smoke purifier for the laser. Both her and Nacho like to hang out in here sometimes, so although I wouldn't let them out while it's running, I can rest assured that you're distracting me. Anyway, I just feel safer with it. So this is an attachment I'm definitely going to be adding. But for now, I'm just going to use the hose that it came with. It just clips onto the back here, and then you vent it right outside. Almost ready to fire this thing up. This is probably the most satisfying part of the whole unboxing. So XTOOL has its own software that will work really well with this machine. There are other programs like Lightburn and stuff that you could use as well, but I'm very new to this, so I'm going to start by using their software and kind of go from there. So this does come with a USB-C to USB port. Unfortunately, my computer doesn't have a USB port, so I just have this little attachment that I picked up from Amazon. The majority of the new Macs don't actually have the regular USB ports anymore, so it would have been nice if they had included also a USB-C to USB-C cord. Once I connected it, I realized there was a firmware update, so I did that before I did anything else. So you're not limited to the graphics and stuff that you find in the program, but just to test this out on some cardboard, I threw in some Halloween themed ones to try and score onto this cardboard. Now you see on the screen here that I'm actually looking at the inside of the laser. There's a camera in there that will show you everything laid out inside the machine so that you can drop and drag your images right onto whatever you're cutting or scoring or engraving, which is super, super helpful. So this is officially my first test run. This is just scoring, which means it's not cutting all the way through. Not sure what I was expecting, but these lines are so crispy. They're super fine and precise, and I guess in a way I wasn't really expecting that, so that's quite impressive. For my next little tester, I have this picture of our cat Muffin, who, if you've been following my channel, you know that we lost a few months back. I'm going to be printing this image onto basswood. There is a learning curve to this for sure. I know I said earlier that anyone can do it, and it's true, but you have to kind of experiment and figure out what the settings are for each material that you're using and what you want to do with it. So I played around a little bit with the engraving settings, and this is what we came up with. It engraved and then cut it out. And that's really cool, and it's hard to tell in the picture, but those whiskers, you can actually feel the texture of them. It's really cool. So there is a feature in the software that can help you in figuring out the parameters for each job that you're doing. You can do a material test array, and basically it sets up a grid on whatever material you want to test. You can do a cut test or an engraving test. You can put in the lowest speed that you want up to the maximum, and same with the power, and it will test them for you. These are great to have on hand for any material you want to cut or engrave, because to extend the life of your laser, you want to use the lowest power that you can and still get the results that you want. So on the back here, you can see where it almost cut through, where it didn't cut at all, and I know that I need at least probably about a 25% power and a slow speed to cut through this basswood. The slots in the bottom of the laser are removable, which is super handy for picking up little bits that might fall through. These are things you definitely don't want to leave in there. The tray also slides out to do the same thing. So I opted to run an engraving test on the same basswood just to have, and then I decided to play around. I have this little wooden Christmas ornament that's broken on the back, so it's kind of the perfect little test, and I decided to use Nacho's face. And there's my handsome little man. Now, this is a little bit light. You could go in and process it again or change the settings so that it's a bit darker, but these are all just tests. So a few years back, I bought a bunch of coaster blanks that I was painting on, and I thought, hey, why not try some with my logo on it and just see how it comes out. I have one that is very thin and square and was already stained dark, and then I have one that's a little bit thicker. So once I clean off a little bit of the dust from the engraving and have a look, you can see that the dark one obviously has much more contrast, but I'm not giving up on the other one just yet. It is a nicer quality coaster, so I just want to see if I can get this to stand out a bit, and I'm using a little bit of a black water-based stain to do so. It's semi-transparent, it's not super opaque, and I'm hoping, and you can see there, it just kind of fills in those recessed areas. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of Odie's oil, of course, on both of them. And for the square ones, I actually have some cork left over as well. That's adhesive on the back, so I'm going to add a cork backer. This is a pretty clean engraving, I have to say. Like I said, I'm still kind of learning the settings, but I'm happy with that. I just wish it was on a higher quality coaster. I don't love this one yet, but I'm going to let it dry and come back in a bit and have a look. So I'm just adding the cork to the back of this. It's super easy. It is a little bit larger than the blank, so I'm actually going to use this self-healing cutting mat that my good friend Jay from Flipping Drawers sent me from my Amazon wishlist. If you haven't checked out his channel, you're missing out. You definitely want to go check him out. His channel is called Flipping Drawers. Anyway, Jay sent me this mat, and this is actually the first time I'm getting to use it. So I have a bunch of these blanks left over. I think I have enough to make, between the two styles, probably 5 or 6 sets of 4. So I think I might actually give these away. If you're still watching, and thank you so much if you are, comment down below if you would like to be entered to win a set of one of these. And in a day or two, I'll just go in and randomly pick some winners. So this is what this one looks like when it dried, and I actually like it a lot more. It has a bit of an industrial vibe to it. It's a little bit rustic. They're both cool, but I find myself leaning more toward the black and gray one. If you think this is something you might be interested in, check out the link below. They're having a huge sale right now. I'll include the dates for that down below, where you can save a ton of money on these products, this one specifically, and all of the other ones and their accessories as well. So there are a couple of things that I personally am going to be picking up to go with this to make this experience better suited to what my workroom is like and what my needs for this machine are. And I look forward to sharing with you in some future videos what I actually do with this. This is capable of way more than coasters, and obviously, you know, most people when they think of laser engravers, they immediately think coasters, keychains, you know, dog tags, stuff like that. But this machine can do so much more than that. I can create custom templates for routers out of acrylic. This can cut clear acrylic, which a lot of the other lasers can't do. This is a powerful 55-watt machine, super well made, and I'm looking forward to putting it through its paces. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you next time.